All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley McGowan, and I'm the VP of Customer Experience here at Marqii. I'm excited to have you all here today as I discuss reviews and building a playbook for best practices on how to respond to them. Our agenda for today will consist of why reviews matter, building a response playbook, and using insights to spot trends to create a feedback loop. Now, before I dive in, we do have a chat box that is at the bottom of the screen, and this is available to use. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask those questions. We have a couple of team members who are on the call as well, who will be watching the chat box and will be responding to questions. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So if you want to save your questions till the end, you can do that as well. Either way, I just wanted to let you all know you have some options. All right. The next piece is I know that we have some new attendees that may have never attended one of our live sessions. Welcome. Thank you all for coming. And so I want to start by giving you a little bit of a background around who we are here at Marqii and what we do. So here at Marqii, our mission is simple. We're here to help hospitality businesses be found and also be chosen by guests. Our solutions really consist of accuracy, review management, and then that overall discoverability. So when we kind of break that down, our software is really built to help restaurants ensure listings and menus and ensure that they're accurate across 70 different publishers. We also provide review management solutions to assist with monitoring and responding to reviews. And then we also offer website services to help optimize your location pages and menus in both the SEO and GEO spaces. Now, we know that there are many ways to manage these services. Just know that we here at Marqii are a trusted partner in the hospitality space, and we're here to help you with your discoverability journey. So, why do reviews matter? I want to set the tone before we kind of dive in here. It's a Friday night. A couple has come in for dinner. They order food and drinks, and then they leave. On their way home, they leave a 3-star review on Google. They mention that while the food was great, the appetizers, they were a little cold, and their second round of drinks took quite some time to arrive. Now, this isn't the review that you want to receive, but it really isn't about the negative review in itself. It's about the insight into the experience that the guest had. And here's an opportunity where you can use your response to win them back as a guest and bring in even more guests. So, why do reviews matter to the guest? 92% of guests read reviews before deciding what to eat. This means that, they're not only looking at, what people are saying, but they're also looking at how the restaurant is responding. And that's all encompassing, in terms of when they're deciding and how they're deciding where to go to eat. In addition, 79% trust online reviews just as much as they trust personal recommendations. This means that it isn't always about word of mouth. Yes, we know that this is important, but when people are traveling or visiting somewhere new, they don't always have, someone there that they might know to help give them insights on where to go. So they're going to lean on platforms such as Google or Yelp and the reviews that they're getting in to determine what's a good place to go for dining. Now, why are reviews important to the restaurant? By responding to all reviews, along with consistent listing and menu updates, restaurants can see roughly a 30% increase in their star rating. Also, when responding to reviews, it gives restaurants the insight to see what is going well and where there's room for improvement. I want to then kind of go into some interesting stats that are worth, calling out and sharing with you all. Restaurants can see anywhere from a 5% to a 9% increase in revenue per additional star. So when we kind of break this down, if you move from a 2 to 3 star or 3 to 4 star, that does have a revenue implication on your overall business. Now, let's look at this from a big picture, as we kind of talk about this. When someone is doing a restaurant near me search, or they're looking for Mexican near me, or whatever cuisine they happen to be looking for, they're going to get a list of locations that they can take a look at that fall into those categories. And what a lot of consumers are doing is that they are stack ranking these listings by reviews, and they're seeing what has, essentially the best star rating when they're kind of making their decision. And so it is more likely that they're going to choose something that is closer to a 4 star versus a restaurant that has a 2 star. So working on improving that star rating overall is going to help move you up in the search, but it's also going to help with a buyer's decision in terms of choosing where they're going to dine for a restaurant. Next, I want to just kind of chat a little bit about conversion and SEO. So 35% of consumers will click on links. Now, this could be anywhere from your website to your social media and even ordering links based on on a restaurant's positive reviews. So the more positive reviews you have, the more likely a consumer will click on the links and try to discover a little bit more about your operations. So obviously, the more positive reviews you have, some implication around how that increases your overall revenue, but it also helps with your overall SEO and ensuring that you're showing up a bit more when consumers are doing a search, especially in that local search. Now that I spoke a bit about why reviews matter, let's talk about what makes a great response. Now, it all starts with building a response playbook. First, you want to monitor. You want to look at all the platforms where people can leave feedback about your business. So this could be Google, this could be Yelp, Facebook, DoorDash. There are many. So it could be anywhere from 5 to different platforms where someone may leave feedback about your restaurant. Now, the number doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you have a way of being able to monitor these platforms and pay attention to the feedback that is getting so that you can action it as needed. Next, you want to assign someone to respond to these reviews. It's great to assign a dedicated person or a dedicated team that is responsible for responding to the reviews. Now, again, this could be one person who oversees all locations that you have, or it could be the individual general manager for each location that's responsible. Regardless of how you set this up, the reason why it's important to have a dedicated person or team is that it ensures consistency as you are having those reviews responded to you, and it also helps continue to match with your brand tone every time a review is responded to. And then the final piece is around execution. Respond to those reviews. We recommend responding anywhere between 24 and 48 hours after a review is received, and this is really to stay engaged. You have a guest who has come to a platform, they've given feedback, and a lot of times they're looking to see how you're responding, how you're going to respond to it, especially if there's an opportunity to win them back. So the sooner you're able to respond back to them, the more likely you have a chance for winning back that guest who may not have had a great experience. But then from a bigger standpoint, consumers are also paying attention to see how are you responding to any feedback that is coming to your business, whether it's positive or negative. All right. Now that we've talked a little bit about the playbook, let's go into what makes that great review. And there are 4 key elements that you want to pay attention to as you are building your review response. First, you want to look at personalization. Personalize as often as you can. So if there's a name that is left in the feedback, use the name. Any way that you can kind of personalize it is always a great touch. You want to repeat back their feedback. This shows empathy. This shows that you're paying attention to what the feedback is that you've received from the guest. And then you want to maintain authenticity. By doing this, you're also keeping your brand identity in the response. And so you want to make sure that, a bit of your restaurant is showcased in that response as well. And then finally, you want to incorporate SEO keywords, but really when it makes sense. So you want to be very tactful when you use any type of SEO keywords, because the goal here is one, you want to, highlight certain keywords that represent your business, but you also want to still pay attention to the feedback that you're given from your guests. So if your guest is reaching out and they're saying, the music was too loud today at our dinner service, they're not looking for you to then suggest the new burger that's on your menu. So you just want to be thoughtful in how you're responding and use SEO keywords as part of your strategy. All right. So right here, I have a quick example for you all to see that really just showcases how to utilize these four key elements. I'm not going to read through this, but as you can see, we've kind of highlighted where we hit on each of those elements. The personalization is with using Amanda's name into the response. And then there's a repeat back of their feedback. So it sounds like the Brussels sprouts came out cold. So we definitely, hit back on that and repeated, some of their feedback to show a little bit of empathy. And then there's that maintaining of authenticity. We hope you give us another chance and that we can earn that extra star on the next visit. And then the final piece, we were able to use SEO here. So SEO keywords here. So we have a great service that is highlighted, and then we also have Brussels sprouts. So there's no perfect way in terms of exactly how to respond, but we do recommend, again, keeping this, to your brand, but also hitting on these four elements will really showcase, a good review response that shows that you're paying attention to what the guest is providing for overall feedback. All right. Next, we're going to hit on AI or humans? So we get this question a lot of whether or not, should I be responding using AI or should I respond personally? My response, and the response that we give overall is it's completely up to you, but be cautious. At Marqii, we've invested, a bit in our AI response solution, and we do believe that we have a very strong solution when it comes to utilizing AI. But what we want to always say is that AI is not perfect. It is a great tool to have. But if you're going to choose AI, we always recommend that you review before sending out any of your responses. AI is here to assist, it is not here to replace. So when you let AI respond on its own, you may end up with responses that really are not what you're looking to have represent your restaurant. So in this example right here, you can see that the guest had mentioned that part of the order was missing, and the response that they got back from the restaurant was, "Thanks so much." Not exactly a response that really answers to the fact that they were missing items, but again, this is why it's important to really use AI as an assistant to how you're responding and not replace the overall human element. Now, there are benefits overall to AI. It is here to save time, especially if you have a busy day. We understand as restaurant operators, days can be crazy, and being able to take some time out of your day to respond to a review and try to respond within 24 to 48 hours can be a task. And so, again, we do believe in tools. And, here at Marqii, as I mentioned, we did build out an AI solution that helps with review response. And part of, how this is utilized is that you can add the prompts and instructions that you would like AI to utilize when they are drafting a response to your overall aspect of feedback. And while this is important because the other thing is we want to make sure your brand tone is represented every single time that a response comes out. And I touched on those four key elements. You can also include those key elements, but you can also include aspects of, hey, these are things that we find are important for us as a business that we highlight in any of our review responses. You can also adjust tones. So you can have a casual and positive tone when something is positive, or you can have an empathetic and trustworthy tone when something is negative. This also, gives you that adaptability to really respond in a way that truly represents who you are as a restaurant brand. And the last thing I just want to hit on too is, I had mentioned that AI is a great assistant. And here at Marqii, with our AI solution, we will help you draft a response to help save you time, but we want you to have the ability to take a look at it, see if there's anything that needs to be changed, make updates as needed, and then we allow for you to send that review response and not have an automatic send so that you are in control of how it sends and you can ensure that the AI got it right for you. All right. Now that we have spoken about the playbook and responding to reviews, let's talk a little bit about review insights and how the data that you can capture from your reviews can showcase some trends. Now, having a dashboard that provides review insights, I find that to be pure gold for the business. This is honestly the opportunity that allows you to see where you're truly doing well and where there's improvement. And because you may have several reviews, so you could have anywhere from 10 to hundreds to even thousands of reviews in a specific time frame. It's hard to kind of go back through all of them and try to understand what is going on here. And that's why we always recommend having some type of solution that'll give you that full insight into how you're doing, because that's really what's going to help drive any changes that you're making. And it's giving you that data to help you make data-driven decisions. So here at Marqii, we provide different types of analytics, such as our AI review summary. So this report is designed to sum up all of the responses for any location during a given time period so that you know what people are saying specifically about that restaurant. So if you want to take a look back over the last 30 days, or if you want to go back a full year, you can truly see what are people saying in a summary version that you can then take back to the rest of the team to decide, hey, this is something that is worth discussing, or it is an opportunity of where we can make some adjustments within our restaurant. We also offer a sentiment analysis report. Now, this is a great one because it allows you to see what sentiment is across the different categories that represent your restaurant. So, this could be anything from your food, your service, your overall experience, price. And it allows you to break down how are you doing in each of those categories, especially if this is something that you want to focus on, and gives you an area of where to focus on, within your restaurant. So if we're seeing that, hey, food is great, we're doing very well when it comes to, the quality of food that we're offering, but our service, seems to be, trending on, the negative sentiment. Now we know that we need to focus on making some changes, within our restaurant. Maybe it's, you know, making a bit of changes on, our service team, or maybe the way that we are structuring our, our in-person dining. But this sentiment analysis, regardless, will give you a good breakdown to let you know what is going well when you look at these core categories and where is there, again, some opportunity for improvement. The next thing that we have is that we have a keyword analysis. We understand that there are certain keywords that you want to pay attention to and that are really important to your business. And we want to highlight them so that you understand what are people saying positively about certain words and what are people saying that may not be what you're looking for or hoping for certain words. So let's say, for example, the vanilla latte is a new item that you've added to the menu and you're really excited to see it, but we're not seeing, the positive feedback that we were hoping for. In fact, we're seeing it be a little bit more negative than we had anticipated. With this dashboard, you're able to dive in a little bit more to see, well, why are we getting, a bit of negative reviews when we look at this particular item that we're trying to promote? And maybe the feedback is that it's a little bit sweeter than guests had been intending for a vanilla latte. And this gives you that ammo that you need to go back to the team to say, hey, we might need to adjust the flavor profile of our vanilla latte so that we're getting the feedback that we're hoping for when guests are ordering this item. And then the final piece that we have is that we offer reports around the two core services that a restaurant may have, so that on-premise versus off-premise. And so maybe service is going great when guests are dining in, but delivery service has a dip. Maybe last month there was some changing in packaging that has, decreased, our overall off-premise reputation. And so you have a way to kind of dive in a little bit deeper that goes above and beyond what's going on for your specific keywords to overall sentiment. And now we can just kind of dive into that actual service model and determine, hey, are there any changes that I need to make for in-house for dining or any changes that I need to make for our delivery service? And it also gives you that bit of insight of dining is going very well, but maybe when we're doing our third-party delivery services, there is some changes that we need to discuss to ensure that those who are getting food delivered are getting that same great experience as those who are coming in to dine. So this takes us to the guest feedback loop. Now that you have all this data about your restaurant, you can take this information back to the team to make changes to your overall service. This then in turn enhances your guest experience, which then increases your overall positive reviews, which you can then continue to respond to because it's really important to keep responding to those. But essentially, what we're creating here is this overall guest feedback loop that shows you strictly from the data how to make impacts to your overall experience, which then leads to more positive reviews, which finally impacts your overall SEO and helps you go full circle. So that's really what I have for you all that I'm sharing with y'all today on our overall review playbook. So if you are new to Marqii and you have questions and you want to learn a little bit more about what I've just shown you, or just anything on how we can help you all with your reputation, your overall listings and discoverability, you can click on or you can scan this QR code on your phone and it'll allow you to schedule a demo so that you can learn about Marqii. If you are a current client and you have some questions on, what was just shared, feel free to reach out to our support team at support@marqii.com. Or if you have an account manager, you can reach out to that account manager as well. All right. This now takes us to questions. All right. I'm just pulling up the chat. Oh, you're welcome, Mike. I see there's one in the Q&A. Oh, Carol, looks like you were looking to add people. I hope you were able to send the link over to other people. Oh, Carol, looks like you're asking how to get the Marqii dashboard. All right, I'm going to go back to this QR code. Um, if you're able to scan this QR code, this will take you to our demo, which will walk you through which will connect you with one of our sales team members, and they'll provide you with a walkthrough and next steps on how to get signed up with Marqii. Does that answer your question? All right. Are there any other questions? All right. If there are no other questions, I want to thank you all for joining today. Have a great day. And again, if you are interested in learning more about Marqii, feel free to scan the QR code or reach out to our support team. Carol, it looks like you had said you signed up. Feel free to send a quick email to our support team and we'll make sure that we get you logged into your account. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And we hope you all have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next month.